You are listening to My Father's Wars by Elaine Acworth, performed by Barbara Lowing, Zach Bolton, Will Kelly, Kevin Spink and Elaine Acworth, with sound design and original music by Guy Webster. Episode 5. And we sat atop the dead, for there was nowhere else.
I have a family photo taken outside Warwick, country Queensland. A picnic beside a river. Large cooler bars line the banks, open grassy pasture behind. I'm not there, not born yet. But my younger mother is, and my half-sister Jerry and her family. My father is kneeling to one side of a picnic basket, as if about to rise and set to some task. His trousers are sharply creased, his shoes polished, and the akubra shades half his face. He seems determined, eyes ever so lightly squinted. He's looking hard at something, jaws set. It is a trick of the light and perspective, but Dad seems 30% bigger than everyone else. He's there. Right there. Ready. How do you get that ready?
Skin them.
Poor buggers, eh, boss?
Come on, Fred. It's got to be done.
Sheep. Dad went broke with sheep. Drought.
Take the dogs back, Ivo.
Ivy Mabel Acworth, née Athau, Dad's first wife, Jerry's mother.
They can't smell the blood on the sheep.
Family were country people.
My father wouldn't do this.
Well-to-do, the story goes.
Your father can adjust.
We can ask him to help.
The story goes her family looked down on Bill. Didn't think the son of a labourer was good enough for their girl.
The dogs, Ivo, please.
William Snowden Acworth, grazier, and Ivy Mabel Acworth, home duties, appeared on the 1937 electoral roll for the division of Kennedy. They run sheep at a station called St Elmo, outside Julia Creek. 2 years later, the Second War breaks out, and my dad is called back to active service in the garrison battalions, coastal defences, internal security. But here...
Ivo, please!
There's another photo. It's undated, but it's a picture of a 1936 International Harvester Company truck piled to twice a man's height with sheepskins. Not fleece, sheepskins. The sheep have been skinned, thousands of them, slaughtered and skinned.
My God.
The caption reads, "Going south for sixpence a skin."
Would you look at that?
Oh, boss.
I've invented Fred.
There, that right there, Fred.
Lines of sheep, top to tail, catching the thin lines of shade cast by the telegraph poles that cut across the paddocks.
Oh, yeah.
It was described in a 1935 Courier Mail report on the drought.
Suppose they're like us.
I want there to have been a Fred.
Suppose they can see a line in the shade much as we can. Sure can feel it, eh?
In my mind's eye, Fred's hopping from one foot to the other, into the shade, out of it.
In the shade, and out of it. In it, out of it.
Fred's a bit of a galoot.
What's up, boss?
The sheep, they filed up, one behind the other. Like the boys. Going up along the track. Going up to jump off.
You want to start with them, the live ones?
What? No, Fred, no. The last ones that smell it, the fear. You can go mad on the smell of fear. It's a rotten way to finish up. No, we'll start on the dead ones, Fred. Let the others have the shade for a bit more.
My mother's father, Hugh McLean, was a shearer. Mum told me once that her father, Hugh, had shorn this fly-blown, pathetic mob out near Julia Creek, sometime in the drought of the mid-30s. The grazier had been on his last legs too, he thought. Skinny, watching his mob, flies worrying the sheep, dags spoiling the fleece, a tall man, hard-eyed, staring out. Trying to stare it down, Hughie thought. Stare down a drought. Was that Bill Acworth, 43 years old, and looking into the end of everything?
I can't cover wages next month, Fred. You should look for something else.
You walking off, boss?
I don't want to.
Oh, if you stay.
Hold on. I don't want to, but sometimes you see things. Like those poor ruddy sheep standing in a skinny line of shade with their nose up some other sheep's arse and thinking, that's better. That's all right now. Oh, yes, I'm doing well. But from back here where I'm standing, You can puff out your chest and pretend it's you it's after, waiting to catch you. Green and slipshod. But it's not. It doesn't even know you're there. You don't figure in the scheme of things at all.
I'm not sure what you mean, boss.
I think I'm a sheep, Fred, that leads sheep. I don't want you to be one too.
Did my dad have a Fred? His best and most willing boy? Did he keep him safe in the drought? And Ivo and Jerry? My father always seemed so strong, no matter how hard a thing hit, even when he had the stroke.
No. Little girl.
You can, Dad. I can carry you.
No. Sweet. Yeah.
I don't have a girl.
There are 4 soldiers alive, leaning back against a mud bank. In the last photo I have. There's a dead man on the left. His neck is stretched back as if craning to see what's above them. There's another sprawled and half buried in the mud at the bottom of the shot. I think he has lost his arms. I can't see them. They don't look like men, let alone the particular men that they were. What we let stand for the truth, eh?
Be nice.
He hands back a photo of a girl.
She's got nice eyes. Kind.
The men are exhausted, sipping tea from pannikins, blankets over mud-plastered legs.
You're a lucky bloke.
It's Broodseinde Ridge, 12th October 1917. After the battle. The 26th had begun on the night of the 3rd of October. They pushed forward to the second objective, then carried for the 28th, then gone back up to the trenches till the 11th. They'd lost 7 officers and 250 other ranks, and Tommy Patterson died running. Now here, 4 men are collapsed against a mud bank, sipping tea with 2 dead men a few feet away. And one soldier says to the other, "You're a lucky bloke,"
Oh, I'll need to chat.
says the man with no girl.
Yes.
Says the lucky fellow. To chat is to try to delouse your clothes, but they don't move. I can see. There's something in their faces that says they don't move.
Hope there's a limber by soon. Could do with some grub.
From the cookhouse?
Yeah.
Barney? Nah, mate, sorry. Fritz loved a good one right in the middle of his rations. Blew him to kingdom come.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. And he'd only just swallowed him.
What?
Jeez, you're green.
Oh, you mongrel. So they're right. He's right.
But there's no youthful whack on the arm for the joke. They just don't move. They'd move eventually. They'd either bury the men or find a stretcher or limber to carry them back for burial. Either way, there would be pocketbooks and paybooks to fish out of jackets, maybe letters with scraps of wattle and photos of open-faced, hopeful girls. And my dad would write a letter to the family of his dead boy. Perhaps that action made him cling to every minute, no matter what it brought.
Oh my.
The last year of his life, he had an afternoon rest in their bedroom,
Oh, look at that.
pointing to an Arthur Streeton on the wall.
How he caught the light.
Moonlight on a Sydney headland and bay.
It showed him a mystery.
I've woken him with a cup of tea, and now my kid's brain's trying to follow.
Streeton saw differently through that moonlight. Saw through to the other side of things.
The hair on the back of my neck is standing up. All of my 12 years are saying I'm about to know something big, more than sums and how to spell ornithorhynchus. In a quiet Coorparoo bedroom, Dad's staring at the moonlight on Sydney Harbour in 1907.
The other side of things? Do you mean like my prisms?
I had prisms.
Like everything. Like it all. Like the gas. They reveal a thing. For good or ill. You see differently.
Oh.
Tommy Patterson didn't have time to get a scar, and his brother was gassed so shortly after. I couldn't tell her that.
I had no idea about Tommy's scar, or his brother, or what gassed was.
What's gassed?
It comes as a thick yellow cloud.
Oh.
The sun turns an extraordinary mauve purple.
Oh.
I felt I'd let him down. I reached out to stroke his hand.
Harry couldn't get his mask on. I couldn't tell her that.
What?
How could she see that?
He shook his head.
His face, like that, with that purple sun behind it, I couldn't. There wasn't a way to say that.
He was still looking at the moonlight on Sydney Harbour, but there was a softness there, a deep and soft regret. A part of my father rarely seen. A part that still lived on Flanders Fields. Dad died a few months later, and I saw the world differently. Saw it from the other side, and there was no going back.
That's the furnace, isn't it, Mum?
And now I see again how I am my father's child, though he died when I was young.
Thank you for listening to My Father's Wars by Elaine Acworth. Performed by Barbara Lowing, Zach Bolton, Will Kelly, Kevin Spink and Elaine Acworth, with sound design and original music by Guy Webster. This work includes material and derived material from many sources, with special thanks to the following for copyright or Creative Commons permissions: the Honourable P.J. Keating, Duncan MacLean, the Bundaberg Genealogical Association, Arthur Lambert and Sir John Hamerton, the Reginald Knox Thompson Papers and State Library of Queensland, the Unit War Diaries of AIF battalions held at the Australian War Memorial, Fred Manning and Sydney University Library, John Gilbert Jacob and his descendants. A very special thanks and acknowledgement goes to the State Library of Queensland, the Q Anzac 100 Memories for a New Generation program, and the Queensland Government for its support through their Anzac Centenary Grants program. For more details and acknowledgements regarding the making of My Father's Wars, please see the State Library of Queensland webpage.